Hello friends, welcome to Learner's Planet. Friends, I'm here with this interesting session of clocks. See, all of us know each and everything about the clock, but what we don't know is the property of clocks and properties of the hands of the clock. See, questions based on clocks are frequently asked in various competitive exams, and students, they find it very difficult to deal with this sort of questions, right? And why it happens? Because conceptually they are not clear about the properties of the clocks and properties of hands of the clock, right? So in this session we'll be discussing the terminologies, the concepts, the working, the properties of clocks and its hands. Okay, so let's touch the topics or touch the terminologies one by one. Friends, once again, I would like to remind you that we don't have to mug up the formula to solve the problems of the clocks. If we are logically and conceptually clear, then any problem related to clocks can be solved very easily. And if you are just mugging up the formula, then any twisted problem, if it is asked in the examination, you will stuck up. So what I would suggest you is to understand the things, to do the problems logically and conceptually. Okay. Friends, I'm not sharing anything new with you. What I'm doing over here is just discussing the working of this clock. Okay. Now, clock is what? A circle. The center angle is always 360 degrees. That we know since our childhood. We have been learning this thing. So, the center angle is this. You just have to listen to me very carefully. Have your paper and pen with you. The center angle is 360 degree. Now this is the minute end and this is the hour end. Minute end covers this entire circle in 60 minutes, right? That means minute end is covering 360 degree in 60 minutes. Okay? And hour end, it is taking 12 hours to make this complete circle, right? That means hour end is taking 12 hours to complete 360 degree, right? (360° in 12 hours. Okay. Friends, when we are talking about a clock over here, I'm just discussing an accurate clock over here. Unless until it is mentioned that there is some problem in clock, it is gaining the time or it is losing the time, then till then you just have to assume that we are talking about an accurate clock, right? So an accurate clock, the minute hand covers 360 degree in 60 minutes and the hour hand covers 360 degree in 12 hours, right? Friends, based on clocks and its properties, various questions and various patterns of questions are asked in examination, right? So we'll be taking each and every pattern of question which is like frequently asked in exam. The easiest one is the question based on angle between hour and minute end. And the question, suppose you have to find out the angle between hour and minute end. Suppose as at this time, it's 11:05 at this time, which is this clock is showing. So you have to find this angle, right? This is the most frequently asked question. And believe me, it's very easy. If you are conceptually clear, if you are going logically, then you can do this sort of problems even in seconds and without even touching your paper and pen. Now, how it would happen, let's discuss. So the first thing which we are going to discuss is how to find out the angle between hour and minute end when a particular time is given, right? So listen to me carefully. See, thus if we start from this point, so this complete angle, this complete circle, the center angle is 360 degree. That means there are 12 parts. That means each part is of 30 degree. So 12 and 1, right? Between 12 and 1, if we draw, this angle will be, if we draw the arms, the angle will be 30 degree. Similarly, between 1 and 2, if we draw the arm, the angle will be 30 degree. Between 2 and 3, if we draw the arms, the angle will be 30 degree, right? So 5 minutes, if we talk about minute end, 5 minutes is equivalent to 30 degree. So what does it mean? 5 minutes is 30 degree. That means minute hand covers 30 degree in 5 minutes. Minute hand covers 30 degree. This is 30 degree from 12 to 1, 30 degree, and it covers in 5 minutes. So minute hand covers 30 degree in 5 minutes. I just write it over here. So minute hand, I just write MH. Minute hand covers 30 degree in 5 minutes, and R and covers this distance R and covers in 1 hour. That means 30 degree is covered in 1 hour. Okay. So friends, this much you must be knowing to solve the problems based on clock when you have to find out the angle between the hands. And this you already know. I haven't told you anything new, right? So this much you know. Now let's proceed with the simplest problem of finding out the angles between the hands of the clock. The simplest one, suppose I have to find out the angle between the hands when it is so this is minute hand and this is hour hand when it is suppose 3 o'clock. So it's 1, 2 and this is 3. Now at when it is 3 o'clock we have to find out the angle between hour and minute hand. Now what is happening at 3 o'clock? The situation is like this. Okay, so very easily you can say that this is 90 degree angle. Now how do we calculate this 90 degree angle? See, from 12 to 1 we consider this minute hand to be fixed at 12 and hour end at 3, right? So from 12 to 1 the angle is 30 degree, 1 to 2 30 degree, right? It's 30, from here 30, this 30. So the total angle from 12 to 3 is 90 degree. Okay, similarly if you have to find out the angle between the hands at 4 o'clock, that what will happen? This 4, so one more 30 degree will be added. So at 4 o'clock the angle between this minute hand and hour end will be 30 into 4, 120 degree, right? Similarly at 5 o'clock one more 30 degree will be added, so the angle will be 150 degree. At 6 o'clock a straight line will be there, so 30 into 6, 180 degree angle will be there between hour and minute hand. Okay, at 7 what will happen? This complete angle is what? This complete angle, okay, I just redraw. This is 7 o'clock. This is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? This complete angle is 360 degree, and this angle, how could we calculate? It's till here it's 180, then it's 210. That means out of 360 we can deduct 210, that's 150, right? So you can even calculate it by, like, it's 11, 10, 9, 8 and 7. So 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 5 times. So that's 150 degree. Okay. Now friends, we have just discussed the method to find out the angles between hour and minute hand when minute hand is there at 12, right? Now how do we calculate the angle between hour and minute hand when minute hand is not actually at 12, or maybe a fraction of hour is there, right? I take a simple example, 3:30, right? So let's find out the angle between hour and minute hand at 3:30. Now to calculate this I have taken a basis line over here. It's 12 o'clock, right? At 3:30 this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, right? This is 6. So at 3:30 what will be the situation? This is 4. Hour end will be somewhere here between 3 and 4, and minute hand will be exactly at 6. Agreed? Now there are various methods to calculate the angle between these two. The first thing which I discuss over here is, what I would do is this complete angle minus this angle will give us the angle between these two. Yeah, this complete angle minus this angle is the angle that we require, right? So this complete angle between, this is 12, this is 6, so this is a straight line. So the minute end at 6 because it's 3:30. So this complete angle will be 180 degree. Okay. Now this complete angle will be what? See, R and covers 30 degree in 1 hour, right? So this is 30 degree, further 30, further 30. Okay, so 30, 30, 30, 3 times, that means 90 degree till 3 o'clock. After that it's 3:30, that means half an hour more. So in 1 hour 30 degree, that means in half an hour it will move half of 30 degree, that's 15 degree. Getting my point? In 1 hour it is moving with 30 degree, so in half an hour it will move with 15 degree. So till 3, 90 degree, and from 3 to 3:30 it will further move to 15 degree. So in all 105 degree it will move from 12 to 3:30. Getting my point? From 12 to 3, 90 degree, from 3 to 3:30, 15 degree. So from 12 to 3:30, 105 degree. So this angle is 105 degree, this angle is 180 degree. That means this angle will be what? 180 minus 105, that means 75 degree. Okay, getting my point? Alternatively, what you can do is, see, if R and is at 3, so from this, if this is the situation 3 and 6, then this angle will be 90 degree. Okay, but R and is 15 degree after 3, right? So this angle is 15 degree. So from 90 this angle can be deducted. So from 90 if you deduct 15, you'll be getting 75 straight. Okay, so you go this way, either you calculate the angle from the back side or from this side, doesn't matter, your answer will remain same. The thing is, you should be conceptually clear what you are doing. Okay, if you are conceptually clear, you can calculate the angle without even paperwork. I just show you by taking one example. Now friends, let's calculate the angle between the ends at maybe 5:15. Now I'll be using the same basis line. I'm not going to draw clock over here. You just have to visualize the clock in your mind, because in exam time is a restriction. So you just have to visualize the clock in your mind. So first of all, what we have to do, we know that R and covers 30 degree in 1 hour. So in 5 hours, it will cover 150 degree, right? And in 15 minutes, because it's 5:15, so in 5 hours it will cover 150 degree. So in 15 minutes it will cover 1/4 of 30 degree, that is 7.5 degree. So R and will cover 157.5 degree. Now minute end will cover just 15 minutes only. So 15 minutes, that means minute end will be at 3 o'clock. So the angle between this line and minute end will be 90 degree. Okay, so difference is what? 67.5 degree. That is angle between minute hand and R and at 5:15, right? So the calculation can be done mentally. I just take you one example where I will not write anything like this. Okay, you just have to visualize. I just show it over here once again. This is 5:15, something like this is R and will be at 3 o'clock. This is 4, this is 5, and this is something like that. So we have calculated this angle, that's 157.5 degree. Then we calculated this angle, that's 90 degree. So the difference between these two is 67.5 degree. Okay, now let's try one problem. We will not go for any sort of paperwork. Just listen to me very carefully. Now friends, let's find out the angle between R and a minute end at 4:30. Now at 4:30, minute end will be there at 6 and R end will be at half an hour ahead of 4, right? It's somewhere in between. Now 6 and 4:30, the difference is of 1.5 hour, right? And R and it covers 30 degree in 1 hour, right? So 1.5 hour, that means 30 degree plus half of 30, that's 15 degree. So the angle between R and minute end will be 30 plus 15, that's 45 degree, right? Very easily you can say. Okay. Now friends, let's take one more example. Let's find out the angle between the hands of the clock at maybe 6:40, right? Now 6:40, minute hand will be at 8 and hour hand will be between 6 to 7, right? Now 6 to 7, angle will be 30 degree, and because of this 20-minute difference, so hour and covers 30 degree in 1 hour. So in 20 minutes, 1/3 of 30 degree. So 1/3 of 60 minutes, so 1/3 of 30 degree. So that's 10 degree. So at 6:40, the angle between the two hands will be 40 degree. Okay. One more example. 7:10. So minute hand will be at 2 and hour hand will be a bit ahead of 7. So from 2 to 7, 5 hours, 1 hour is 30 degree, so 5 hours is 150 degree. Then 10 minutes, 30 degree is in 60 minutes, that means in 10 minutes it will be 5 degree. Okay, so the angle between both the hands in this case will be 150 plus 5, that's 155 degree, right? So you might have observed it's very easy, a very nominal, or you can say no paperwork is required at all, right? What you have to do, you have to locate the position of the minute hand and you just have to find out the difference between minute hand and hour hand. In hour difference, just multiply every hour by 3 by 30, as in this case. Difference between minute hand and hour and minute hand is at 2, hour end is bit ahead of 7. So from 2 to 7, 5 hours, 1 hour is 30 degree. So 5 hours is 150 degree, very easy. Then if 1 hour is 30 degree, that means 60 minutes is 30 degree, that means 10 minutes is 5 more degree. Okay, so the angle between the hands at 7:10 is 150 degree. Similarly, you can do various other examples. Okay, so I hope you are clear with this pattern. One or two small examples I just take. Suppose it's 8:45. So minute hand will be at 9 and there is just 15-minute gap between the two, right? And 1 hour is 30 degree, that means 1/4 hour will be 1/4 of 30 degree, that is 7.5 degree, right? So hour end and minute end will form an angle of 7.5 degree at 8:45. Okay, maybe 3:35. So minute end will be at 7. So from 4 to 7, 3 hours. So 3 hours 30 degree, that means 90 degree, and this 35 minute is there. So from 3:35 to 4:25 more degrees. So 1 hour is 30 degree, 60 minute, or we can say half degree per minute. So in 25 minutes, 12.5 degree. So 90 plus 12.5, it's 102.5 degree at 3:35. Okay. Now friends, the next pattern of question based on clock is you are given a time and you have to say at what time, like the angle between the clock is maybe right angle, maybe 40 degree, maybe 60 degree, maybe 180 degree or whatever, right? So a simple question I'm taking over here, just listen to me carefully. At what time between say 5:30 to 6, the hands will form a right angle. Okay, so we have to find out the exact time between 5:30 to 6 when both the hands will form right angle with each other. Okay, it's also a two-step process. No much difficulty is there. You just have to listen to me carefully. See, 90 degree angle, that means 3 hour difference between both the hands. Okay, as we have already discussed, situation will be something like this, right? But in this case it will be like this. Okay, this is angle 90°. Okay, so we have to find out the exact time when they are forming 90° angle with each other. Now listen to me very carefully. I just take say suppose at 5:40, right? So this is R end will be at 5 and minute end will be at 8. Okay, so 5 and 8. The difference is 90°. But what is happening over here? When the minute end is at 8, R end cannot be at 5. It will be 40 minute ahead of 5, isn't it? So at 5:40, what will be the angle? It's from 6 to 8, 30° each hour, so 60° plus 20 minutes, that means 10°, so it's 70°. So at 5:40, the angle between both the hands is 70°. Now we want 20 more degrees. Now to get 20 more degrees, what we have to do? Certain calculation is required. See that we have already discussed. In 60 minutes, R and cover 30°. That means in 60 minutes, it's a half degree per minute. And minute end covers 6° per minute. Now here we are going to use the concept of relative speed or gaining speed. Okay, now at 5:40, the situation is that the angle between them is 70°. The situation is something like this. This angle is 70°, but we want it to be 90°. So to make it 90°, both the hands have to be in a moving position. Now if minute end moves, R end will also move. Obviously, it's not that like R end is now stopped and only minute end is moving to make the angle 20° more. So both the hands are moving, but the speed of both the hands are different, right? R end is moving at half degree per minute and minute end is moving 6° per minute. That means minute end is moving 5.5° per minute extra. 5.5° per minute extra. Now how much extra we want? 20°. 70° we are already having at 5:40, but we want 20° extra, so the angle between them is 90°. So 5.5° per minute is extra. So to get 20 minutes extra, 20° extra, what we have to do? 20 by 5.5. It's 40 by 11 minutes will be extra. So 40 by 11 is what? 3/7 by 11. So after 5:40, 3/7 by 11 more minutes. That means 5:43 7 by 11, or we can say 5:40 plus 3/7 by 11 extra minutes. So 43 7 by 11 minutes, they will be forming a right angle. Okay. I take one more example. If you are not clear for the first time, so watch the explanation once again. But I'm taking one or two more examples. Just listen to me carefully. Now the next question is, suppose between say 4 to 5, right? So at what time between 4 to 5, the hands of clock will be in opposite direction. Opposite direction means the situation is something like this. That means this angle should be 180°. Okay. Now 180°, that means around 6 hours difference must be there between R and minute end, right? So 6 hours difference, that means 4 to 10, right? That means minute end should be at 10. If minute end is at 10, so 4 to 10 is 6 hours, so it's 180°. But when minute end is at 10, R end cannot be at 4. It will be slightly ahead of 4. So at 4:50, when minute end is at 10, the time will be 4:50. After 4, if we talk about, so it's 4:50. So at 4:50, what will be the angle between minute end and R end? from 5 to 10 it's 150 degree, and in 10 minutes it's 5 degree, so the angle will be 155 degree. Okay, so at 450 the angle between the ends is 155 degree, but we want it to be 80 degree, so we have to get 25 more degrees. Now we know that 5.5 degree 1 minute, so 25 degree will be 25 by 5.5, so it's 50 by 11 minutes. So 50 by 11 more minutes after 450, right? So 50 by 11 is, let's just cancel it, 50 by 11 is 4, 6 by 11. Okay, so 4 6 by 11 minutes after 50. Okay, so 450 plus 4 6 by 11, so 54 6 by 11 minutes after 4. So the angle between them will be 180 degree, or they will be like in opposite direction. Okay, so you might have observed that calculation is not that difficult, concept is even not that difficult, right? If you do 4 to 5 problems on this concept, it will be very easy for you to understand. Okay, I take 1 or 2 more problems. Now friends, let's find between 3 to 4 both the hands will coincide at what time, right? Now exactly at 3 o'clock, this is the situation, this is the hour end and this is the minute end. As of now the angle is 90 degree. Now minute end to coincide with hour end, it has to gain this 90 degree, because when minute end moves, hour end also moves. So exactly what they have to do, the minute hand has to cover up this 90 degree. Now what exactly happens? 5.5 degree in 1 minute, so it has to cover up this 90 degree, so that's this, so it's 180 by 11. Okay, so after 3 16 4 by 11 more minutes, so 3 16 4 by 11, the angle between them will be 0 degree, or they will coincide. Okay, I hope you are getting me. I take one more example. Now at what time between 4 to 5, suppose there will be a right angle between the hands. Now between 4 to 5 you can very well see that after 4:15 and something around 4:45, 2 times 90 degree angle will be formed, right? So we can find out 2 situations when 90 degree angle will be formed between the hands. Okay, I can just draw the diagram for you. At exactly 4 o'clock, this is the situation. Okay, so when this minute end is somewhere here and it is somewhere moving for 15 minutes, the angle will be 90 degree. After that, this minute end covers the gap and move ahead of our end. So in this situation is also 90 degree, in this situation is also 90 degree. Okay, so in every hour 90 degree angle is formed for 2 times. Okay, so we have to find out both the timings when the angle between 4 to 5 both the hands is 90 degree. So initial situation, first of all we see this is the situation, right? The gap is there of 20 minutes, or maybe we can say 4 hours. So as of now the angle is what? 30 into 4, 120 degree. Now if we want this angle to be 90 degree, what we have to do? We have to gain 30 minutes. That means the minute hand has to gain 30 minutes. Okay, so because hour hand is also moving, minute hand is also moving. So exactly minute hand has to gain 30 minutes. So the difference between them will be 90 degree. Okay, or the angle between them will be 90 degree. So once again the same story, 5.5 degree per minute. So to gain 30 degree it will take 30 by 5.5, 60 by 11. Okay. So 5 by 11 minutes after 4, the angle between both the hands will be 90 degree. Okay, and the same situation will occur as you can see over here. So in that case, what is happening? As of now, the angle is 120 degree, right? Plus 90 more minutes. Okay. So 120 first of all to cover up this, and then more 90. So in all 120 plus 90, 210 degree it has to cover. The minute hand has to cover 210 degree. Now 5.5 degree in 1 minute. So 210 degree is 210 by 5.5. So 420 by 11, that is 38 2 by 11. Okay. So 2 times we have got, one is this and one is this. So after 4, 38 2 by 11 minutes, and after 4, 5 by 11 minutes, the angle between both the hands will be 90 degree. Okay. So I hope you are clear. Our friends will be taking more problems on clocks in our next section. Some more patterns are still left, and we'll be having 1 or 2 problems from the pattern that we have discussed in this session for a quick recap. So do revise this session. Initially you will find it difficult, but gradually if you practice well, you'll find it very easy, and believe me, you'll be getting 100% marks in these sort of problems in your exams, right? Just practice.